Hello everybody, my name is Cameron Earl and I'm here with another video, and today I am doing another Fate deck ranking. I haven't done one of these in a long time, and I am doing it for Marvel Villainous, Mischief, and Malice. What this is I've done this with the original Marvel Villainous set. I've done this with the whole original Villainous set, Disney Villainous, Worst Takes It All. I've done it with Wicked to the Core, and that's actually it. I thought I had more than that, but I didn't. I didn't do Evil Comes Prepared or anything after that yet. I figured I'd get the Marvel ones done because they're shorter. I have all the Fate decks ranked over there. And the card that's first is going to be the worst, and the cards that last is going to be the... I mean, well, the card I show first is the card that affects the villain least. I didn't rank these based on how their effects. I did, but only how they affect the villain that they are for. So we're gonna start off with Loki here, the face of the set. He's the god of mischief, and his goal, therefore, is to spend as much mischief as possible. So there's some cards in here that will obviously get rid of mischief. One of those cards that can help him spend mischief is the worst one in his Fate deck to him, and that is Sif. I don't think Sif is a card. Sif is one of those Fate cards that has Loki's symbol on it because you don't want to play that on Loki. It states, as a 4-strength hero, if Sif is played to any domain, remove one ally from that domain back to that villain's hand. That ally can still be played. If played or relocated to Loki's domain, Loki may defeat this card with spending 3 mischief. So not only does it get rid of an ally, but it gets it removed back to your hand, so you can always replay that ally. But Loki can spend 3 mischief at any time to remove this card. So she's not good to play against Loki, because that will help Loki. Okay. The next person I have here is Jane Foster. Now, if I was talking in the case of some other villains, Jane Foster, Mighty Thor would be much worse. But this is Loki we're talking about. It states, she is a 5-strength hero. Jane Foster, Mighty Thor can only be defeated by 3 or more allies. That's a lot of allies. And Loki has some pretty strong allies. If in Loki's realm, Jane Foster, Mighty Thor gets +1 strength. Soul marks may not be attached to this card. So Hela can't do anything against this card, which is another reason why this card would be extremely high for Hela. A lot of I think most of the card heroes in Loki's deck cannot have soul marks attached to them. They kind of thought of Hela because she is also another Thor villain. Loki being much more famous, but you know. Okay, next character I have here is Thor Odinson. When it states, 6-strength hero, when defeated, Thor Odinson is not removed. Reduces strength by 2. So not only is he a 6-strength hero, he's probably going to need a lot of allies to take him out. But his strength is only reduced by 2, so you need to vanquish him 3 times. Remove him when he is defeated with 0 strength. Soul marks may not be attached to Thor Odinson. Now, Loki has some cards to counter this. He has a few cards to counter this, definitely. Which is why... And some of the cards to counter this, he has to spend mischief, which is why I could help him so. I didn't actually think about that when I put Thor Odinson this low. But that would just honestly put him lower. Loki has cards that will get rid of heroes. Without having to use a vanquish action. So none of these heroes are particularly absolutely brutal to him except one, I think. Next card I have here is Heimdall. I gotta admit, besides Odin himself, I was most excited for Heimdall when they announced Loki. I wanted to see what his card did. And when it states 3-strength hero, when Heimdall is played, the target villain must discard 2 random cards from their hand. Now, this isn't the case for I Believe in You and Horned King's deck, where he discards his whole hand where that could help you, or the Witches of Morva in his deck, where you can have him discard 2 cards. He gets to choose those cards. So does Syndrome with monologuing. They get to choose their cards. Loki does not get to choose cards. He shuffles his hand. What I always do is I always, spread my cards out and have someone pick 2 random ones, and whatever they pick, and that's just that. So Loki could definitely lose some good multiverse cards by doing that. Okay, next card I have here is Not Dead, Just Resting, and they pay homage to the first Thor movie. It is our first effect up here, and it simply states the target villain must discard their hand, then draws a villain card. So this could be very bad where, see, with Loki, with his 3 power being at the top of his board, and how hard it could potentially... I think it's at the top of his board. Actually has board out here. Yeah, his 3 powers at the top of his board. So, being that, if this is covered up, he can only gain 2 in fate from here. This is covered up, he could gain 2 and play a card. So if, like, his whole board's covered, this is probably his best location. Or maybe the Vanquish action one, because obviously. But it's gonna... Sometimes it could be really hard for him to gain power. So he might not always be playing those multiverse cards, which are fairly expensive for how little power he could gain. Because if you get fated, the location they're most likely to cover up first is Odin's Throne. And if you don't get those multiverse cards out, you could lose some. There's only 5 out of 30 cards, but you could lose some. Next card I have is Payment Due. Now this card is high up because of the effect on Loki specifically. I mean, they all are, but this one has a stronger effect on Loki than it would other villains, which is not the case for cards like Thor, Odinson, and stuff like that. It states the targeted villain must either pay power equal to the number of multiverse cards in pay, or must either pay power. That's weird. That's weird. Weird. If the targeted villain is Loki, the number of collected Mischief back to the unused pile. So say Loki has 5 Mischief with all 5 of his multiverse cards out. He has to get rid of all of it. This is the weakest card, in my opinion, that makes him lose Mischief, because it might not always work, but it's still strong enough to hurt him in some cases. The next card I have here, I put it above Payment Due partially because there's 2 of them, and that is Banished. The targeted villain's current power is reduced to 1. If the targeted villain is Loki, you choose power or collected Mischief. Mischief is placed back in the unused pile. So if Loki has a lot of Mischief but has not found the appropriate way to spend it yet, this could potentially hurt Loki a lot. And it doesn't help with the fact that there's 2 of these. So if you're playing like a 2-player game, it's likely that you're going to draw at least 1 of these. And that could really hurt Loki. Okay, we are in the top 3 worst cards. And the first card I have here, well, taking the number 3 spot, is I did what? When? The effect. You notice that there's like no heroes up here except 1. All the effects suck. It states the targeted villain with a multiverse character in their domain. Remove that multiverse character from the game to the game box. That multiverse character is no longer part of the current game. So this card is a weird case in which it could be used to the advantage. Like if Loki draws it and he doesn't have a games within games, he could just use this. But he's not spending Mischief. But other people can get rid... I mean, you're literally getting rid of a multiverse card. That's less Mischief to collect. So if Loki's gaining less Mischief, and it's not even to the discard pile, it's to the game box. Like, if they get rid of Kid Loki... Like, Kid Loki's, in my opinion, one of the best, the best multiverse card to play. Even though it's not even the most expensive, it's actually cheap compared to the other ones, except Lady Loki. Like, it's really good. If they get rid of that, like, gaining 4 power, especially for characters like MetaMask, is such a steal, pretty much. And Kid Loki grants him that 4 power, so Loki would get 1 power and 2 mischief. Like, he's gaining 2 mischief at a time, 2 to 3 mischief at a time, most of the time from these multiverse cards, and you're getting rid of one and returning it to the game box. Okay, it was a tough battle between these 2 cards, but I had to do it. Taking the number 2 spot, the runner-up for the worst card in Loki's Fate deck for Loki, is Odin Allfather. I expected him to be extremely bad for Loki, and he is. 7 strength hero. It states, if defeated, reshuffle this card into the Fate deck, so he never goes into the discard pile. Nothing can be attached to Odin Allfather, which means soul marks for Hela, but we're not talking about her. Literally nothing. So if Loki even has any cards to help with that, he can't do it. If played or relocated to Loki's domain, which is his board, Loki may not spend mischief while this card is there. So I don't even think that Loki literally cannot reduce his strength. I'm pretty sure that everything that Loki has to reduce strength of a hero requires, or just get rid of a hero requires mischief. So Loki's definitely going to have to rely on his allies. Now, Loki has some pretty strong allies, but strong allies come at a heavy cost, and that goes double for Loki. Loki's allies are very expensive. The strong ones, anyway. Now we are at the worst card, and also he's freaking 7 strength. Now we are at the worst card, and the worst card in his Fate deck I have as his event. I get that the event is supposed to be the worst, but sometimes it's always not, as the case with our next villain that we're talking about in this video. First of all, it's a 10 strength event, so it's the only event that's as strong as the freaking Avengers Assemble event, which is the worst Fate card in Villainous history. That card sucks. Ragnarok. It's very simple. Loki cannot spend mischief. The fun part about this is actually the reward. I think this is one of the best rewards that is granted from any event. It's not the best. Avengers Assemble has that in the bag. But this is still a very fun reward. The reward states, remove the total number of heroes and allies equal to the number of spent mischief you have. So if Loki has like 7 mischief spent, he can remove 7 allies or heroes from any domain. This can be chosen from any or all domains. So there's like 2 heroes on Loki's board, 2 allies on Madame Mask's board, and 2 allies on MODOK's board. But there's also 1 hero on Madame Mask's board that Loki doesn't particularly want her vanquishing. And the leader, one of the allies on MODOK's board is the leader. Loki can get rid of all that. And it's an extremely strong reward. And Loki can literally cannot win the game if this is out. It's still a very fun event to have out. I do like handling it and using a reward. The only problem is that, you know, this event, it can indeed, and I've had it happen before, come out very early in the game when Loki has like no spent mischief and the reward is bullcrap. It's just a card that's literally preventing you from winning, and then you get no reward out because you have no spent mischief. I see this, and along with the strength, I see this card as the worst in Loki's deck. Okay, next we are talking about MODOK. And MODOK is the exact opposite of Loki in terms of my rankings, because I have his event as the best card to be played on MODOK, actually. Aim Revolt. It's 8 strength. Now, I think MODOK's highest ally strength starting out is 2. I don't think any of his allies get above 2 strength. Now, the Scientist can help with that. But, you know, Loyalty is set to 1 and cannot advance. So, MODOK has no loyalty. He has creating the cube out, which he needs that to win. He has the cube in his hand, no one knows that. He has enough allies to get rid of Aim Revolt. The thing that makes this card his least bad card is the fact that the reward is literally he gets full loyalty. One of the three things that he needs to win. The three things he needs to win are 5 loyalty, creating the cube out in his specialty space, and the cosmic cube on his board. And if you want to add a fourth thing, an activate action, but that's literally like you have to activate the cube to win anyway. So yeah, this card. If you get this card, you defeat this card. It's honestly a pretty easy win from there if you have exactly what you need. If you play MODOK right, you possibly would a lot of the time. Next card I have here is actually a card I didn't expect to put this low on here, but this is affecting MODOK, and this doesn't really hurt MODOK all that much. That is Iron Man Silver Centurion. Centurion? I don't know how to spell it. Pronounce it. It's a 4-strength hero that states you must use 2 or more allies in a vanquish action against Iron Man Silver Centurion. So it's Drax the Destroyer, but for MODOK instead of Thanos. MODOK literally needs, unless he has the Super Adaptoid, he literally needs 2 allies at least to defeat this guy. So, Next card I have here is Captain America Avenger. He's a 2-strength hero that states Protector. When played, any heroes already in play with Adventure in their name gain +1 strength. So that's all of them. Now, literally, the only Avenger cards are in MODOK's deck, I think. I'm not sure, I think. Like, Madame Mask has a shield hero. Shield heroes are primarily in the common Fate deck for this set. Yeah, there's a bunch of shield characters in Madame Mask's Fate deck, which we will get to next. But I don't think there's any Avengers outside of MODOK's deck, and there's only 4 heroes in his deck. His Fate deck doesn't have much variety because there's like 2 of his effects that have 3 copies each, which makes up 6 of his 11 cards. But yeah, Captain America has Protector, which means any heroes that he's at a different location with, he has to be defeated first. And any hero with Avenger in her name gets +1 strength. Okay, next character I have here is She-Hulk. Now, it was a tough battle between her and the next hero, because they actually had the same strength. She's a 6-strength hero that states, all your ally cards cost +1 power to play, while She-Hulk Avenger is in your domain. So, MODOK, a character who can potentially gain power easily, but also has to spend a lot of it. Because MODOK probably has the most expensive goal out of any of these villains. But she'll hurt you, definitely. Unless you have, like, the leader out. The leader's like a counter to her, but she's a counter to the leader. The next hero I have here is Hulk Avenger. He's a 6-strength hero that states, when played, turn Hulk Avenger horizontal so that he covers 3 action spaces when vanquished the first time. Turn him vertical so he only covers 2 spaces in 1 location, discard after the second vanquish action. So he has to be vanquished twice, which, being that MODOK's allies are generally weak, that could hurt him, and he also covers 2 spaces, so if you, like, play Hulk to the AIM Island and you turn him this way, he's covering up this. Your only activate at the bottom of your board. So that could hurt MODOK, because he won't be able to play the cube and activate it in the same turn. If he has 5 loyalty, he'll have to wait a turn, unless he has infinite calculations. Which I usually like to have one of those in my hand when I have the cube in my hand. Or if you play Hulk here and cover it there. Basically, they're bringing back the Queen of Hearts enlargement rule, where you turn them 90 degrees so they're covering up 3 actions. And when you vanquish Hulk once, you just turn him back to normal, and you have to vanquish him again to get rid of him. Of course, there's a lot of heroes, including MODOK, that have ways to get rid of them. But it is what it is, honestly. Okay, so the next card I have here is actually his runner-up card for the worst. And this was the toughest one. Probably a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this, but in the second place, I have Powerless. Powerless. Remove an item from the targeted player's domain if MODOK is a targeted villain, also set as loyalty 1. Now, if you play MODOK the right way, you're most likely going to have to go through his deck again, because he requires a lot of discarding to win. But at the same time, you're also, if you're playing him the right way, and you get the cube early, don't play it, discard it. Because this card, MODOK only has one item. That's why this is in second place. He only has one item, and it's likely that he's not going to play it if he doesn't have a lot of loyalty. And it sets his loyalty to 1 if he is the targeted villain, which could be bad for him. But this, like I said, MODOK's not going to play the Cosmic Cube early in the game very often, so Powerless might not always work on him. But the worst card that I have for him is Traitor. Now, there's literally 3 of these. There's 3 Powerlesses, too. But there's literally 3 of these. And unlike Powerless, this is a guaranteed lose loyalty for MODOK if he is the targeted villain. It's an effect that says, remove the ally from the targeted villain's domain. If MODOK is the targeted villain, he also loses 2 loyalty. So if he has loyalty, he's losing it. It's guaranteed loss of loyalty. Because the main way for MODOK to gain loyalty is going to be those Hail MODOKs, which require him to have allies out. So that card is very bad for MODOK. Okay, we are now moving on to Madame Mask. Now, think that a lot of cards for Madame Mask wouldn't be so bad because a lot of cards are heroes, which her whole thing is defeating heroes to win. But some of her heroes hurt her, kind of like Scar. So first I have here is Black Widow. When played, draw another Fate card and play the card on the same villain you just played this card on. So a lot of the Fate cards are heroes. And you don't want to really play another hero on Madame Mask, and that's what I'm pretty much saying. You don't really want to play another hero on Madame Mask. Next card I have here is Kate Bishop Hawkeye. 2 powers. So these 2 cards are pretty much the 2 cards that you don't want to play on Madame Mask. While in play, it states, the villain of this domain cannot play effect cards, so she can't play effect cards. Madame Mask gains an additional 1 Vendetta and 1 power from defeating Kate Bishop Hawkeye, however. And if she has a specialty, Payday, I think it's called, that's going to be even worse to have on her board. Because, well, for other players, because she's going to gain 3 power and also 2 Vendetta from this. Okay, next character over here is Kate Bishop's mentor and childhood hero, Clint Barton Hawkeye. 2 strength hero that states, when played, the targeted villain must discard any ally cards in their hand. So if you're playing Madame Mask and you're playing her the way that I play her, you're going to have all your allies out as soon as possible. So Hawkeye might not always work. Sometimes Hawkeye will be like a complete dud for Madame Mask, and he'll just be a hero for cannon fodder on her board that she'll get rid of the next turn. Next character I have here is actually a card I should have probably placed higher, but I know why I didn't. And that is Moon Knight. Also, I'm going to have some disagreement on this. I didn't like that show. It is my least favorite show Marvel series on Disney Plus currently. I do not like the Moon Knight show. Probably going to get some disagreement, but I do not like it. Very cool character, though. I do like his suit and his powers. So he's a 2 strength hero. Actually, I think a lot of these heroes... Yeah, all these heroes are 2 strengths. Except one, which we'll get to eventually. Moon Knight. All allies in Moon Knight's location lose 1 strength. Now, the reason why I didn't put this card higher is because it's in his location. So, of course, if you're playing this on Mana Mask, you're going to want to put it where the most allies are. But the thing is, Mana Mask can always relocate them. Unless you have Agent 13, in which you can't, but you still get rid of her still. It's all just... And he's 2 strength, so allies losing strength in Mana Mask board isn't really going to do much. The next card I have here is Failure. The targeted villain must reveal the top 5 cards from their villain deck, place all 5 cards in the discard pile. Now, of course, I'm ranking these based on how it affects Mana Mask specifically, and a lot of her cards can help her, but a lot of those cards have duplicates or triplets. They can be played because there's more than one of those cards. Now, if you get something like Count Nefaria, that's bad because that's her best card, but it won't always work out for people playing that against Mana Mask, because sometimes she gets rid of cards that she doesn't need. Next card I have here is Jasper Sitwell. Now, Jasper Sitwell's up here because of how he affects Mana Mask. A 1 strength hero that states, when played, find a card with Iron Man in its name and play that card to this location. So, Iron Man is name, and there is a card in her deck with Iron Man in his name. If defeated by Mana Mask, she gains no power or vendetta. So, if she spends 1 measly strength to defeat him, she's not getting anything out of it. You could always just set a trap, or, have an escape plan to get rid of him. He's not really that much of a nuisance after summoning an Iron Man card. Okay, the next card I have here is Prisoner of Shield. Remove the ally with the highest current strength from the targeted villain's domain. Now, this could be bad for Count Nefaria, but what if it's played at the point where you already have enough to win? Now, the reason why this is all the way up here is because there is 2 of these, so if you're playing like a 2-player game, likely that it's going to be played. But of course, another thing is, like, these cards aren't always played on the right villain. Okay, so in third place, the third worst card I have for her is the effect called Hard to Trust a Mask. And it states, all allies controlled by the targeted villain receive -1 strength. So she has, like, so many allies on the board, and they receive -1 strength. Now, if Moon Knight's out, this effect is obviously worse, but this is all of her allies. She's probably going to have a lot of allies out towards the beginning of the game, and this single card is drawn, it's going to be bad. Okay, so the runner-up for the worst card is, I have it as, No One Gets Out Alive, her event card. Now, the thing is, it's only 6 strength, so it's an easier event to get rid of. Mana Mask cannot take a Vendetta Vanquish action. So she can still take Vanquish actions, but they have to be contracts, not Vendettas. Her reward is that she gains 1 Vendetta and 3 power. Now, the reason why this card, being how low the strength is, the reason why this card is all the way up here, not only because she can't win if it's out, but at the same time that the reward is nothing. The reward is pretty much like you're vanquishing an extremely strong hero with, what's the card called? It's almost like you're using, the 1 card on a mana. What's the card called? Now I can't think of what the card is called. Oh. No Mercy is what the card's called. So what it is, you gain a Vanquish action. That Vanquish action counts as a contract and towards Mana Mask Vendetta. So you're pretty much essentially defeating a hero with 3 strength. That's literally what it is. And being that you're getting 3 power off of this and not 6, it's honestly not a good card. Not for her, obviously, because she can't win, but at the same time, I mean, it's literally, the reward is just trash. I feel like she should get a bigger reward out of that. But the worst card I have is a hero who seems weak, if you know the 1 strength, but is extremely powerful. And that is Tony Stark Iron Man. A 1 strength hero that states, Tony Stark Iron Man gains +5 strength when in Madame Mask's domain, so that's already 6 strength that he has, while specifically in her domain. Madame Mask cannot win the game if Tony Stark Iron Man is in her domain. So, not only does he get the same strength as this event here, but unlike Tony Stark, the event gives her a reward for it. Tony Stark, she gets no reward out of it, unless she uses, like, No Mercy or something like that, but still, reward is smaller. But yeah, that's it for her. Now, we are doing the Common Fate deck. This one was hard to rank. This one was pretty freaking hard to rank. But coming in at the least powerful card is Agent 13. A 2 strength hero that states when Agent 13 shield is in your domain, you cannot use a relocate action. Very simple. Next Common Fate card we have is the 2 strength hero Mockingbird Shield. It states, when Mockingbird Shield is played, place a +1 strength token on Mockingbird Shield for every other hero at her location. What if there's not any heroes at her location? Next card I have here is another 2 strength hero with Phil Coulson's Shield. While Phil Coulson's Shield is when he is played, relocate any hero with Shield in their name in any domain to his location. Now, if you play this on someone like Madame Mask, this is pretty much going to be good for her. Because it doesn't say you may, it's pretty much you have to, unless you absolutely can't. Next card I have here is Maria Hill. She does pretty much what Phil Coulson does, but worse. After playing Maria Hill's Shield to a location, move any other hero with Shield in their name and their domain to a new location in any other domain. So as you have to relocate the hero to Phil Coulson's location, you can move a hero from here anywhere you want to. Next character I have here is Peggy Carter of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's another 2 strength hero, and her card states, when Peggy Carter's Shield is played, reveal cards in the Fate deck until you find a hero with Shield or events are named and played in her location. So, you're not relocating a hero, you're putting an entirely new hero out on the board. Next card I have is another 2 strength hero with Melinda May. When Melinda May's Shield is defeated, every other hero at her location gains +1 strength. So not only does she have Protector, which means you have to defeat her first, if she's at a location with other heroes, all heroes defeated after her gain +1 strength. The next card I have is Quake of S.H.I.E.L.D. When Quake Shield is played, she's also another 2 strength. When Quake Shield is played or relocated, any allies... I think it's any ally with less than strength in that location is returned that villain's hand. I feel like they should put allies plural there. That's how I do it. Next card I have here is finally a hero that's above 2 strength, and that is Deathlock's Shield with 3 strength. When Deathlock's Shield is defeated, the villain who defeated him reveals cards in their villain deck until they find an ally. That ally is placed in their discard pile. This could be very detrimental. This is how it affects all the villains in Marvel Villainous, because it's a Common Fate deck. And this can be bad for most of the villains. Okay, so the next card I have here, there's 2 of these, and that is Life Model Decoy of S.H.I.E.L.D. When Life Model Decoy's Shield is defeated, find a hero, if there is one, in the Fate discard pile, and place Life Model Decoy Shield, replace it with that card. So these guys literally just get replaced by a hero after defeating them. So, like Madame Mask, that helps, but... anybody else? Not so great. Next card I have here is Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D., another 2 strength hero. When Nick Fury's Shield is played, each other Shield hero gains a +1 strength token. While Nick Fury's Shield is in play, if a Shield hero is played, they gain a +1 strength token. So every hero, because if you play this set, you're going to have Shield heroes in play, most likely, and they're all going to gain +1 strength, even if played after Nick Fury's Shield. That is our last hero. We are out of effects for this deck, if there was any. I don't even think there was any. Nope, all heroes. I think all 4 of the events in this deck are worse than the heroes. Starting with our least harmful event, I had the event Knock Knock. Now, this is actually my favorite event because I think the way it works is cool. So it starts out as 4 strength, so it's all immediately the weakest event. No fate action can be played, very simple, but it has a little star here. When played, add +1 strength for every shield hero in play. So this thing gets +1 strength for each shield hero in play, like I said. And there's likely, if you're playing the set, there's likely going to be shield heroes in play. The reward is remove 1 shield hero from your domain. So it might not be that strong and fairly easy to get rid of. Like, if there's just 1 shield hero out in play, Loki's Thor can get rid of this immediately. But still, no fate actions being played. Like, this event is out, and you absolutely need to fate somebody, and you can't. That's pretty bad. Next card I have here is Under Surveillance. Oh, I didn't realize how strong this card was. This is another fairly fun event card to have out, I think. Under Surveillance, another someone, all players must play with their hands fully revealed to all other players. So you simply just lay your hand out on the table and leave it there. Reward, place all cards from your hand back into your villain deck, shuffle it, and draw 5 cards. So, the reward is not always the best. If you have a really good hand and you get rid of the event, it's probably not always going to end well for you. Just saying. Next we actually have a tie for the top spot, because the tie for the 2 top spots are Incoming and Infiltrated. Now these cards are essentially the same, in which they do the same thing, which is just one works for allies and one works for heroes. So, Incoming, all heroes currently in play receive a +1 strength token. Any hero that is play receives a +1 strength token. And this one is Infiltrated. All allies currently in play receive a +1 strength, a -1 strength token. Any ally that is play receives a -1 strength token. They're both 8 strengths. Reward for this one is all allies in play gain +2 strength. Or reward for this one is all heroes in play receive -2 strength. So these are literally exact opposites of each other, and I see them as the worst of the events. So they are tied for the number 1 spot. And that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.